All right, Izzy Gutierrez, what do you like on the show today, Izzy?
Gronk needs time to think.
Dale, papi.
I got my Super Bowl prediction right. How come you experts couldn't see it coming?
I think the thing that most analysts miss on this game is just how overwhelming the Eagles were this season. Quarterback Wentz or Foles, they blew everyone away this season wherever the metrics are concerned. And so when they go out there yesterday and they are bigger and badder than the dynasty, even though their left tackle, perennial Pro Bowler, is out, even though their quarterback is out, and they run over not only the Patriots, but the Patriots at their very best with a backup at quarterback, they earned this championship. They did it by beating a team that was not their equal.
Well, why we couldn't see it is because we put so much weight on the quarterback position. And so we thought, hey, Nick Foles hasn't been a great quarterback throughout his career except for a year or two. So he comes into these playoffs and we're waiting for the game. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it never happens. Not only does it not happen in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady on the other side, not only do you take a lead, but you hold on to the lead. That is all surprising. It's also surprising that their defense wasn't the main reason that they won, or more of a primary reason that they won, because they weren't getting any pressure. They weren't any sacks in this game. So why he figured this out, I don't know. But why we couldn't figure it out, yeah, it's pretty obvious. We just needed more evidence that they could do this.
The single most surprising thing in that football game is that is Tom Brady at his best, and that is the Patriots at their best. And it was not yet enough.
Well, I guess that Giselle was right. Brady cannot throw the ball and catch the ball.
Oh, she was right. She said of Wes Welker, he can't throw it and catch it too.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, Amendola can't throw it and catch it too, Giselle.
What do you think Wes Welker's saying right about now?
It's not so easy, is it, Tom?
You gotta catch that ball, Tommy.
Were those really catches?
This is such a ridiculous question. I hate that it's 2018. We have more technology than we've ever had. Tennis is better at replays than football is somehow. And then yesterday, in the biggest game you'll ever see, Chris Collinsworth can't tell whether anything's a catch or not. And so this looked like a catch there, but when they go to review, you see some jiggle and a little jostle and a little juggle, and also as a bonus, none of us know what the hell a catch is anymore. So then we move on to the next one. This we know is a catch. This has always been a catch. This has always been a touchdown throughout the history of time, but Chris Collinsworth said after this as well, I don't know if this is a touchdown either. I don't know what I just saw. I'm a great broadcaster. I was a wide receiver. What the hell's a catch? You can't have that in your biggest games.
Everybody in my house was telling Chris Collinsworth to just shut up, because that looks like a catch. It just does. And so if they would have turned that over and made that an incompletion, I would have just shut down football forever. I mean, just in the Super Bowl. I mean, think about that Brandon Cooks hit. That was a bad look for the NFL with everybody watching. If that had been overturned and people watching football for the first or second time in their lives said, wait a second, that looks like a catch to me.
He seems very extreme from Izzy, though. He would have shut down football on the spot if a call hadn't gone the way he wanted it to.
I mean, that's not football then.
Just shut it down on the spot if Izzy doesn't agree with your ruling.
How about the missed call on the Foles touchdown?
Oh, my father saw this as it happened.
Right.
Al Michaels and nobody else did. But look at this. You can't have this formation. This formation's no good.
That's right.
This is an illegal formation. Bad formation.
I will say Torrey Smith is up there, right? And so as long as he has to do is point at the referee, and technically he's on the line. So if we do a quick, highly questionable investigation and zoom in on Torrey Smith, perhaps we can see if he was really on the line.
Hold on a second. Can we just analyze for just 1 second how absurd that was, a call from Doug Peterson? You do not do that with the best offensive line in football. You do not give the ball on a flip to a guy who doesn't throw a pass, to a guy who doesn't catch a pass. If that had gone wrong somehow, we'd be mocking Peterson so much today.
How should Carson Wentz feel after watching Nick Foles dismantle the Patriots?
That's a funny question. How do you think Chip Kelly felt watching all of that happen? A couple of years removed from him, and all of a sudden he leaves the place, and they're not just overwhelming, but they're winning things with their backup quarterback, and the backup quarterback is looking like the starting quarterback because he gets to play with all that talent around him. The last 2 games that Foles played in the playoffs were better than any games Wentz has ever played, which suggests to me that there are a lot of quarterbacks that could have done what Foles did yesterday.
You can go over the details and say, hey, they need to keep Nick Foles for next year. They should keep Nick Foles for next year because he's got a $7 million contract, doesn't really cost that much. That part I don't really care about. What's more interesting to me is how Carson Wentz is viewed now. Do you view him as a Super Bowl winning quarterback? I don't, because if LeBron James goes an entire playoffs without winning it, with his team winning the championship and he's not there, are we going to grant him his 5th or his 6th? I don't think so. So do we do the same for Carson Wentz? I don't know. To me, he's a third-year quarterback next year who hasn't won a Super Bowl yet.
Wow.
Oh, he's going to be spending a lot of time on the bench from now on.
Nick Foles?
No, Carson Wentz.
Oh, Carson Wentz is going to the bench.
He's going to go to the bench. Are you going to bench
Trade him. No, trade Wentz to the Browns. You can get their 1 and their 4. They don't know what they're doing over there.
I can't believe he went there.
Is the Patriots dynasty over?
Rob Gronkowski, after the game, he sounded kind of broken because his body must hurt a great deal. And if you ask a guy after losing that way, after coming back from surgery, his brain was scrambled 2 weeks ago, he's going to feel a little broken. And so when they ask him about his future, listen to what he has to say.
I don't know how you heard that, but I mean, I'm definitely going to look at my future. For sure. I'm going to sit down the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at.
To answer the question, though, about the Patriots dynasty being over, they're still the betting favorite in Las Vegas next season, no matter what it is that Gronkowski's saying. But I would say to you, if you ever want to find a football player at the most risk of retiring, ask him immediately after the season when his body hurts and he's a little bit broken and they've lost the last game. All of them are thinking about retiring at that point.
Yeah, in terms of the dynasty, if I'm the Patriots, I'm looking at the landscape of the AFC, and I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and say, yeah, if they get it together, they're going to be a real threat to us. But you look at the rest of it and say, okay, we just had to beat Marcus Mariota and Blake Bortles to get to the Super Bowl again. Even if we lose Gronkowski, which I don't think they will, but even if they lose Gronkowski, you've got Tom Brady playing at a high level, and you've got Bill Belichick. You're probably still going to be in the Super Bowl next year.
Not irrelevant, though, what he's saying there in terms of Gronk has been a fountain of youth for Tom Brady for the last 5 years. If Gronk is out, Tom Brady ceases to be exactly the Tom Brady that you're used to seeing. So if Gronk leaves, you're going to get a lesser Tom Brady, and that's going to make the decline feel like it's imminent.
You know who was very happy at that trophy presentation?
Who's that?
Fidel Goldell, because, you know, he didn't have to give the trophy to Brady and Belichick.
Not again. I don't want to go over there with this heavy thing again and my dignity, and I put it on their lap and everyone laughs at me. I prefer to not do that again. Is there anyone over here who wants this trophy?
Was mentioned Malcolm Butler, again altering mistake for the Patriots.
All right, when they traded Jimmy Garoppolo, I said to myself, well, the Patriots aren't crazy. They're not totally insane because they're the Patriots. They know what they're doing. Now you add this to the mix. This doesn't make any sense. Nobody understands how a guy who's been a Super Bowl fixture for you, who won a game for you in this time, look at this with Malcolm Butler. He doesn't play after playing 99% of the snaps this season, doesn't play at all yesterday, and listen to what he had to say afterward.
I don't know. They gave up on me. So, it is what it is. It was the coach's decision. I was just doing my job, supporting my teammates. I mean, I had nothing but great things to say about the organization. Great organization. They gave me the opportunity. I don't know what it was. I guess I wasn't playing good, or they didn't feel comfortable. I don't know. I could have changed that game, though.
If you want to look at a decision like this and ask yourself why, you say, okay, maybe Malcolm Butler wasn't a great matchup for Alshon Jeffrey. Maybe there was a size problem. Maybe he hasn't played as well this year as he has the last couple. And if you looked at the stats, you could see that that's necessarily true. But to shut him out of the game entirely in the Super Bowl, surprisingly, just seems like a curious decision, especially when your defense is getting lit up. So it's not a great look for the Patriots overall, and certainly not for Matt Patricia, who's about to go take a head coaching job.
Well, a few Patriots players, past and present, were liking on Instagram the idea of, did Bill Belichick find himself in a position where he was just being stubborn, that he was trying to keep Butler out of the game to send some sort of message to Butler, that he wasn't willing to admit in the first half that he might be wrong, that his defensive scheme wasn't working and wasn't going to work. You have to wonder why does Belichick at least wouldn't put him in the second half, because nothing they were doing before that was stopping anyone from throwing the football.
Are the CAVS completely bleeped?
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much. I mean, almost completely. It's almost very close to completely. This incarnation of the Cavs, they lose at home by 1,000,000 points to the Rockets this weekend. And what this is all saying, it doesn't seem like the Cavs are trying very hard. It doesn't seem like LeBron James is trying very hard. They want this blown up by February 8th. He wants to get some new pieces in here for the end of the season because he knows that this version of this team is not nearly good enough.
I think what's completely bleeped is your voice, Poppy.
Yes.
But I do think the Cavs, this sort of three-act play that they run right around this time of year is working to perfection. This one's a lot more difficult. We talked about it a million times. LeBron James might leave, etc. So you have to be super dramatic right now and say, okay, make the moves that want me to stay here. Here's the thing. I think he's allowing the opportunity to actually be the case. He's sort of giving the signs that, yeah, I might stay in Cleveland. You just have to do something really spectacular for me to stay because my other options are maybe signing with the Warriors or the Rockets, and that's not going to be a good look for me. And if I sign with the Rockets, I might never even get to the finals. At least I can do so here in Cleveland. So this is his last giant ask of Dan Gilbert.
Wait a minute.
Get me some players.
Are you the only person in the world suggesting that he might stay in Cleveland? Because I haven't heard anyone argue on behalf of Cleveland. And this is a plague that Izzy has wrought on this show. He takes both sides on every issue so much and so fervently with so much detail that he's got LeBron staying in Cleveland.
Just got to keep up, man.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Oh, is he trying to break it?
Goodness.
No, this is who celebrates victory
Where did it
this way?
become tradition for Philadelphia Eagles fans to specifically jump on the Ritz-Carlton
Hold on a
awning
second.
after
Come on,
a celebration?
Philadelphia, the home of the Rocky movies. You're a tough city. A Ritz-Carlton awning. My father's television show is brought to you by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Neil Lane designs for Hollywood's biggest